Hi everyone, this is Mike with Mike's Watches Hong Kong, and I just wanted to share some of my thoughts about what do you look for when you buy a watch, particularly if you're on a budget or looking for something that would hold value or potentially be a good investment. I think Rolex is a great brand, especially for secondhand watches. So typically, when you buy at the authorized dealer, they're giving around 5% discount usually at the upper end, and the price can be quite high. And then if you sell it later, the resale value might be 30 or 40% less if you're looking to go to a watch dealer um, to sell it. But if you're looking to buy, I think if you go to uh, you know a watch dealer who sells pre-owned watches, you can easily find about watches in great condition. It might be a year or so old, and you probably get around 20, maybe up to 25% off. Again, that depends on the model. The more popular models, such as the Submariner, such as this one, you're likely to get less discount. So probably be, I think when I was buying them, they were around 18 to 20% off. So I would say, what do you look for? First, make sure you like the watch. You want to get something that you like, and a brand like Rolex is, you really can't go wrong with it. So I think it's a really good starting point. Another thing is when I go into the watch shops, a lot of times I ask if they have a loop. So because that way you can see things that you can't see with your eye, and it's really important. You want to check the condition of the watch to make sure it's in good shape. So I mean, you really need to trust the person you're buying from, the dealer, or if not, have a look at the movement. Which in some later videos I intend to go over that and what to look for in the movement. But for now, typically when I go into a shop, I know the dealers, so I typically look at the condition of the dial, which is this black. First, you want to make sure. I mean, everything being original is quite important. So I would just ask, is it original? And then, you do some research on that model. What should be original, and if something sticks out or not. With the Rolex watches, everything should be perfect. So, I mean, when I look at the dial, I mean, you look under the loop, and you just see if there are any damages. And I just make sure everything's perfect. So I look at the dial, I look at all of the indices to make sure it's in good shape, make sure the print is all really good, and things to that nature. I look at the dial to make sure there's no oxidation or rusting per se, and then same with these hands. You can tell by how the watch moves and how it turns that it's a in good working order. Um, Besides that, I like to look at this serial number, see where does the watch come from. Are the original papers included? That's actually very important. People do want the warranty certificate, not necessarily for the warranty, but it's kind of part of the collection. And I would say it's getting easier to get the boxes, even the original boxes. So if it doesn't have a box, I think that would be okay because that's replaceable, but the warranty certificate is not. So you do want to make sure that that is included. I would say when you're buying watches, especially if they're at a higher price. For older watches, a lot of times they can be sold without papers. You get a little bit of a discount, but again, think about if you want to sell it later, you might have a little bit more difficulty, or you might have to price it a little bit more aggressively to sell it compared to if you had that paper. So definitely think the paper is worth that extra money. um, you check here the bezel turns without issues. You want everything to run very smoothly. You don't want to think, oh, I bought this watch, it's not working right later, which I very rarely have that issue with the Rolex. Check the clasp. Make sure that it's easy for you to open, because for me, I find the newer clasp is much easier to work with than the older one, especially having this double lock. If you get the older models, they might not have that double lock, so you just have, you can just open it by pulling here. So think about if you're wearing it, if that would be a problem, if it would be likely to come off and you lose the watch, which you definitely don't want to do. Um, have a look here at the polished side, see how many scratches there are, check the condition. So I mean, this one, I've taken this on quite a few holidays overseas, and I've done everything with it. I think the condition is still pretty good, but I do have some newer watches, so you can definitely tell the difference that this one is used. Um, you can check here. Some people like to keep this clean, especially after service. There's a sticker on. I noticed that some people won't remove it. So you just have a look at everything. Again, this is in pretty good shape. Again, you can use a polishing cloth because it's easy to get fingerprints on, so that you can check the quality. Another thing I check is winding the time. There's the winding, and then make sure it's very, when you're turning it, it's turning the right way, and it's very smooth and quick and perfect. So that is something that I check too. So I check mostly how the movement moves, that there's no problem. If the watch is not, like if it's off, the it's run out of the energy in the spring, to turn it, you can actually just shake it, and it really should start up right away, so that everything is working good. Check here in the sides for the engraved Rolex, and then of course here at the 6 o'clock you have the serial number. And then also, if you have really good eyes, you'll be able to see here around the 6 o'clock in the crystal, there's going to be a very small Rolex symbol etched in the crystal itself. Now, I highly doubt I'm going to be able to show you here on the camera because it's too small, but I actually can see them, but some people with not so great vision, they cannot. Check the condition of the pearl, make sure it's there. And another thing I check for is that the bracelet is not loose. So how I do this is typically, you'll hold the watch like that and check to make sure that it doesn't, that it's hanging straight. So this one is, I'm taking the video from above, so it's quite hard to show that, but if you do hold the watch sideways, see if the bracelet is straight or if it's hanging. So, because I think, that could be a little bit annoying, and you usually see that in the older watches. It's quite normal, actually. So make sure everything's running smoothly, but I would say the biggest part is the movement. And the condition should be, pretty good. You just want to make sure that everything's right in the movement, nothing's been changed. So the movement, but my initial checks, I will focus on the dial, the indices, the print, and then the hour, minute, second markers. Make sure everything is perfect, and if there's any damage, you need to assess whether you want to put a watch like this in your collection. So I think only with older watches you might make some exceptions because they're more difficult to find, and you want that watch, and you may be getting a pretty nice discount on that. So, but for the newer watches, make sure that's in good shape. Again, the bezel is ceramic, so there should practically be no scratches there. The crystal is very difficult to scratch. I think it would actually break before it scratches, and it does break. I've seen some other people with their Rolex watches, their crystals cracked. So it's not really a cheap thing. Another thing is check the lug sizes. Just make sure that it's all very smooth and nice, and you can see here the width on both sides are very nice. If someone have, if you damage this, it's stainless steel, so you can polish it and fix it quite easily. You can do it yourself, or you can even send it to the authorized dealer. But sometimes if you damage one of these sides, it might be a bit thinner than the other side. So you do want to check that. But even I have a mark here. I'm just leaving it. Maybe later I'm gonna try at Cape Cod very lightly to see if I can buff it out. But actually, I don't mind the condition, because then I can actually wear the watch. I don't have to worry when I go out about scratching or anything. So yeah, this is the debrushed side, which has quite a few scratches, but I think the condition is still pretty good, especially after you wash it with a mild soap. It still looks very nice. So yeah, I'm very happy with this watch. I hope this video has helped. If there's anything else that you want to know, please do ask some questions. I welcome the questions. Thank you, and bye bye.